Hello, everybody. You're having a good day. Check the weather here real quick. Kind of warm today. Looking at about 23 Fahrenheit. Oh, yeah. Okay, so yep, still winter. Anyway, we've got so many things going on in the world. A lot of people think, well, got old Donald J. Trump in the White House. We're in the free and clear for at least 4 years. And then people are saying, whoa, third term. And then you have all of these quote-unquote Democrats, which are commies, right? They're really commies. And crying about that. But let me tell you what. There is a former president who was a quote-unquote Democrat, right? He was a commie. FDR. He had 4 terms. That's right. 4. That's 12 years. Now, should somebody be able to be the president forever? No. But the thing is that when you have these other people ruining your country before and having open borders and just devastating the country, it only makes sense to give somebody who's doing good things for the country more time. That's my opinion, right? So yeah, if they want to do 3 or 4 terms for Trump, I'm okay with that. Doesn't matter to me because I do my own thing anyway. I really just don't pay attention to stuff that infringes upon my freedom, regardless of who's in office. Okay, so these governments, they try to infringe upon people's freedom all the time. They ignore these documents that we have in place all the time. So the best thing to do is just ignore what they say and do, you know. But the thing is that one of the biggest problems that we have in this country is that treason is no longer an offense that is treatable by capital punishment, you know, like, you know, the gallows and whatnot, right? So I don't know when that went away, but that was a bad idea because we got all of these people in the U.S. federal government that are committing treason daily, and nothing is done about it. They're not even removed. They're not arrested. Nothing. And they ignore the president. This is the reason why Trump never got anywhere in his first term, is because he was constantly stonewalled by communists that are in the quote-unquote Democrat Party. They're not Democrats. They're communists. Okay? And they are weirdos, and they are not for the American way of life. The American way of life from 200 years ago, okay? People say, oh, well, we have to change. No, we don't have to change. We founded this country on freedom, and we founded this country on certain principles and morals and so on. And there was a strong connection with God in those days, and even up until a number of years ago, that the country was still strong with God. And now everybody's like, there is no God. Everybody's, so many people out there mocking God. Let me tell you something. God will not be mocked. God will not be mocked. You will see destruction. Because you tick him off, and you know what? He'll just kick Capitol Hill over just like that. He'll take his little toesies there on his foot, like the Santa Claus did on with Ralphie on Christmas Story. Ho, ho, ho! And then he'll just kick the Capitol building over in D.C. and say, you're done. You know, that's the way God is. He's not going to be mocked. And there's been way too much of that. And I'm not saying that Trump is a Christian, because in my opinion, Trump is not a Christian, because he has publicly stated on video that he doesn't feel that he needs to be forgiven for anything. So that, to me, that's a problem. Okay? I've already put things out there on video. You know, he could be the Antichrist. He could be, or he could be the person paving the way for the Antichrist. One or the other. And then we got the, we've got the heretic Pope. Okay, I was Catholic when I was young, and then I was Protestant, and then now I'm in the middle, right? So some things were wrong with the Catholics, and some things were wrong with the Protestants. The thing is you just got to line it up with the Bible. If it doesn't line up with the Bible, then it's wrong. Okay? So, yeah. Anyway, but I was talking about this Pope that some are saying, because it was kind of weird, because Benedict he quote unquote retired, right? And I think he was an old Nazi, right? I think he was an old Nazi from World War II. Anyway, hiding in the church. But there's the old prophecy about Peter the Roman, okay? And we talk about popes, okay, the last pope. And we talk about the last pope, and people had been speculating. Sorry, I got an itch there. Elastic band. So anyway, there's this prophecy. It talks about the last pope, number 112. Okay, and they were saying, well, you know, this current guy, Francis, who is a nature-worshipping heretic, a lot of people were speculating that he was the last pope, okay, and that the last pope, of course, is supposed to usher in the Antichrist, or he's supposed to have a lot to do with the Antichrist. But anyway, there's a lot on this guy that he was not really duly promoted to pope. He was not really elected to pope. I guess there was some kind of a thing in the Vatican where several cardinals had basically placed him in the position of pope, and he was not really elected. So there's a possibility that if this clown dies off, that, you know, he was not 112. I mean, he has a lot of things going for him to be 112, but, you know, he may not be. He may be what they call a placeholder, right? A placeholder. Okay, we'll just put him in until the real one comes along, or, you know, they were saying that a certain person within the Vatican should actually be the Pope. Okay, now, you can get in all of that stuff if you want, but, you know, years ago, a lot of this stuff was found out about a lot of things going on in the Vatican. You know, priests saying, hey, the devil's in the Vatican and blah, 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 and all this and that, because despite the fact that the Catholics have a lot of wrong things, they do have some right things, okay? They have some right things. The Protestants have some right things. The truth is really in the middle, and like I said, you got to just compare everything with the Bible, right? So anyway, so it could be that, you know, that he could be the last pope, or he may not be the last pope. If you're not familiar with this prophecy, just look it up. A guy named Tom Horn did a lot of research on this, okay? Tom Horn. So if you're into prophecy and conspiracy and things like that, conspiracies, and I'm not going to call them theories either, because there's so many things that are just not, I mean, they're not theories. You know, there are certain people out there that like to push them as conspiracy theories, but they're really not theories, they're facts. They just don't want to give them credence because, you know, it is what it is. I'll let you draw your own conclusions about that. I made a big fresh pot of coffee, and I had coffee left over yesterday, so I heated the coffee in the pot because I do it on the stove. Heated that up, poured that into my Aladdin thermos, Stanley, and then I made another pot of coffee and then topped that off, so I got plenty of coffee this morning. People keep saying, well, what about this revolt you keep talking about in the church rapture and the Antichrist and all that? Man, we're on the timeline. We are on the timeline. There's no doubt about it. We're in that fig tree generation. And, you know, the point to start from, no matter what calendar you're on, the point that you start counting on is 1948, when Israel was reestablished as a nation. Now, people will say stuff like, oh, but the Zionists, oh, but this, oh, but that, you know. But the thing is that it does not matter how Israel was reformed as a nation to God. God uses people at His will. It doesn't matter. If somebody is going to bring about what He wanted to bring about, it doesn't matter anything about them. He will use anything or anyone the way He wants to. He raises and lowers kingdoms at will. His will, not ours. So when all this baloney was going on about Trump and Harris, man, back in 2020 or 2021, something like that, I called it. I said, look, and it wasn't really me calling it. I just knew. Trump, God's going to put Trump back in office in 2024. He's going back in. He's going to win it in 2024. He will be back in the Oval Office in 2025. I called it. I told people. I didn't say his name. But I said, the guy that nobody thinks will go back in the White House, he'll be in there. And that's who I was talking about. Trump. So anyway, feeling pretty chipper this morning. Got about a minute left. Boom. Right before it starts screaming. Get quiet. So anyway, I got plenty of coffee. I'm going to talk for a few videos with you guys this morning. And then I'm going to get some sewing on the go. I always got things to do, guys. I got, it seems like as soon as I get something done, something else comes to take its place, or, you know, because the back of the line never advances. It just keeps staying back there as far as things to do. I get something done, and it seems to move forward, but something else comes to the back of the line. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how it is in life, right? Yeah. Come back in another video. I'll see you there.